Top 5 signs we are entering a new dark age. Before we start, we need to clear something up. The Dark Ages were not dim. Indeed, the vast majority of the reasons individuals think the early Middle Ages were dim are only normal misinterpretations about the time. 5. Online networking censorship. Twitter has as of late declared another device in their battle against free discourse and the quest for shrewdness: individual by individual blocking. The new setting will permit clients to choose who can and can't answer to their tweets. As such, you can minister a whole discussion wherein just those individuals who concur with your point will be obvious to anybody perusing. Facebook is currently adding notices to specific presence on caution individuals that they may contain bogus data in any event, when they don't, and Instagram is erasing posts that may make offense some people. On top of the entirety of this, whole gatherings are as a rule through and through restricted from the entirety of the previously mentioned locales for just culpable others or spreading data which the proprietors of those destinations don't concur with, regardless of whether they are correct or not. In the US, where the vast majority of these organizations are based, they are inside their legitimate rights to stifle free discourse. The last answer for these unpleasant assaults on the sharing of information is for new destinations to rise, liberated by political predisposition of tycoon proprietors and investors who consider the to-be line as being a higher priority than the adoration for wisdom. Incidentally, don't hesitate to include me as a companion Facebook. I guarantee I won't edit you. 4. Suppression of speakers on campuses. The right to speak freely of discourse incorporates the option to fight discourse you can't help contradicting. The individuals who punch protesters at rallies can no more profess to help free discourse than Lenin could profess to help private enterprise. In any case, there's practicing your fair option to dissent, and afterward utilizing option to totally close down the perspectives you're challenging. As of late, it appears that protesters are pointing exclusively for the last mentioned. Creating a domain your rival is hesitant to enter appears to have truly taken off around 2013. Preceding that, fights at grounds infrequently hindered a welcome speaker from joining in. Today, you catch wind of dropped addresses with mind-desensitizing regularity. Speakers like Milo Yiannopoulos, cut above, have been pursued off school grounds, as have speakers like star premature birth Supreme Court equity Carol Bayer. Each time it occurs, it exhibits how little worth is currently positioned on free discourse and illuminated discussion, versus basically yelling your adversary down. We ought to be fantastically worried that alleged bastions of free discourse, in particular colleges, are presently the wellspring of so much enemy of opportunity. At the point when discussion closes, so does the revelation of new information. 3. YouTube censorship. The men behind the window ornament at Google have chosen to spare us from ourselves and stifle paranoid ideas and other substance they disdain. Their explanation is that they are keeping us from being misdirected. That surely infers an unfathomably insightful statement by T.S. Eliot: the vast majority of the underhandedness in this world is finished by individuals with honest goals. The inspiration of Google, on the off chance that it is valid, can appear to be from temperate beginnings. However, there is one issue: paranoid ideas are regularly evident. For instance, Project MK Ultra, the sickening CIA mind control analyze. What's more, shouldn't something be said about the hypothesis that help for the Iraq War was erroneously made because of lies about infants being tossed from incubators? And talking about wars, the Vietnam War depended on one incredible enormous falsehood, discussed uniquely in Paranoid Idea Hovers until the CIA affirmed it to be valid. I am, obviously, alluding to the Gulf of Tonkin occurrence. What number of conversations of connivances are being evacuated and covered up by Google at this moment? What's more, without a doubt right presently is the point at which we most need these conversations around China and the coronavirus and the deep state in legislative issues. 2. Google search destruction. Over the most recent 3 decades we have given over the curation of the abundance of human information to an organization that had the witticism, "Don't be malevolent," until 2018 when it discreetly positioned it in the last sentence of its set of principles, presently only an untimely idea. The most recent 2 years have seen Google dynamically obliterate the nature of its list items, first filling them with supported posts and now, as of May 2020, apparently supplanting the whole file with results that give Google and its companions money-related help during coronavirus. Online website admin gatherings are loaded with site proprietors announcing their destinations dead as 50 to 70% of their traffic from search has been sliced for enormous brand results from organizations lined up with Google's reality see. It is likely reasonable for state that the eventual fate of the Internet is one in which most list items end in a 404 blunder page not found. Google is adequately closing down the Internet. With all the hunt traffic gone, the destinations that do remain will be constrained to look to membership models. 1. Joe Rogan Spotify. The greatest name in podcasting has recently declared that he is moving to Spotify where, for the burden of tuning in to a promotion, you can get to his digital recordings. He is likely the main huge name to disclose to Google he won't endure their restriction. Up to this point, Rogan was winning $36 million every year for his web recordings with Google, however Spotify baited him in with a guarantee of $100 million. It is no big surprise he is eager to face the challenge and move to a paid help. It is incredible for Joe as far as oversight, until Spotify gets purchased by Google or starts to actualize its own limitations on content. It does, be that as it may, serve to show us exactly how prohibitive access to data is going to become. Only the reality of the situation will become obvious eventually whether a mass departure of substance creators to this new stage will serve to expand or diminish our general access to information. We are seeing a solidification right now into a couple of amazingly enormous companies, and their standards and morals, or deficiency in that department, will decide whose voices and what stories we as a whole hear later on.